Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a timeless tale that I think we can all learn something from. It's a story about friendship, fear, and what it truly means to have someone's back. So, grab a comfy seat, and let's get into the story of the bear and the two friends. Once upon a time, two friends, let's call them Alex and Ben, were journeying together through a vast, dense forest. The sun dappled through the canopy, but both knew that a forest, for all its beauty, could also hide many dangers. Before they set off, they made a solemn promise to each other. No matter what happens, Alex said, we'll stick together. We'll face any danger side by side. Ben nodded in agreement. Absolutely. Two are always stronger than one. I've got your back. They felt confident, their bond giving them the courage to venture deeper into the woods. For a while, their journey was peaceful. They chatted, shared stories, and pointed out interesting birds and plants along the path. The air was fresh, and the sounds of the forest were a gentle symphony around them. They felt invincible, their promise echoing in their minds. But as we all know, life has a way of testing our promises when we least expect it. Suddenly, the peaceful atmosphere was shattered. From behind a thicket of bushes, a large bear emerged, its massive frame blocking their path. Panic set in instantly. The bear was huge, much bigger than they could have imagined, and it was looking right at them. All thoughts of their brave pack vanished from Alex's mind in a heartbeat. Without a second thought for Ben, he sprinted to the nearest tall tree. He was a nimble climber, and in seconds, he had scrambled up the trunk, finding a sturdy branch high above the ground, far out of the bear's reach. He didn't even look back. He just saved himself. Down on the forest floor, Ben stood frozen for a moment, his heart pounding in his chest. He watched in disbelief as his friend, the one who had just promised to stick by him, disappeared into the leaves above. He knew he couldn't outrun the bear, and climbing wasn't his strong suit, especially not with the predator so close. Desperation sparked an idea. He remembered hearing an old woodsman's tale that bears don't touch creatures that are already dead. It was a long shot, a huge gamble, but it was the only chance he had. Taking a deep breath, Ben dropped to the ground. He lay completely still, holding his breath, trying to make his body as limp and lifeless as possible. He shut his eyes tightly and prayed that the old tale was true. Every second felt like an eternity. He could hear the heavy thud of the bear's paws getting closer and closer. He could feel the ground vibrate with its weight. The smell of damp earth and wild animal filled his nostrils. He fought every instinct to jump up and run, focusing all his energy on playing dead. The bear lumbered over to where Ben lay. He felt its hot, heavy breath on his face. The massive creature began to sniff him all over, its wet nose prodding his side, his arm, his leg. Ben's heart was hammering against his ribs so hard he was sure the bear could hear it. He remained perfectly still, a statue of fear. The bear then lowered its huge head and brought its snout right up to Ben's ear, sniffing and snorting loudly as if inspecting him closely. For what felt like an eternity, the bear just stood there, contemplating. Ben could only imagine its sharp claws and powerful jaws. He was completely at its mercy. Then, just as suddenly as it had arrived, the bear seemed to lose interest. It let out a low grunt, seemingly convinced that this human was no threat and not worth the effort. It lifted its massive head, turned, and lumbered away, disappearing back into the dense undergrowth from where it came. Ben lay on the ground for a few more moments, not daring to move, listening until the sound of the bear's footsteps faded completely into the silence of the forest. Only then did he slowly, cautiously, let out the breath he had been holding. Up in the tree, Alex had watched the whole incredible scene unfold. He saw the bear sniff his friend and then, to his utter astonishment, walk away. Once he was certain the coast was clear, he cautiously climbed back down the tree. He approached Ben, who was now slowly sitting up, brushing the dirt and leaves off his clothes. With a nervous, slightly sheepish laugh, Alex tried to make light of the situation. "Wow, that was a close one. You're so lucky," he said. Then, his curiosity got the better of him. He leaned in and asked, "I saw that bear get really close to you. It looked like it was whispering in your ear. What did it say?" Ben stood up, his expression unreadable. He looked Alex straight in the eye, his voice calm but firm. There was no anger, only a quiet, profound disappointment. "Oh, the bear," he said, his gaze unwavering. "It gave me some advice." He paused for a moment, letting the silence hang between them. "It told me never to trust a friend who abandons you at the first sign of danger." With those words, Ben turned his back on Alex and continued his journey through the forest, alone. The promise they had made felt like a distant memory, broken by fear and selfishness. So, what's the big takeaway from this story? It's pretty clear, isn't it? The moral is that a true friend, a real friend, is someone who sticks with you through thick and thin, through the good times and, more importantly, through the bad. It's easy to be a friend when everything is going well, when the sun is shining and the path is clear. But the true test of friendship, the true measure of someone's character, is how they react when things get tough, when the bear appears in your life. Think about it. The bear can be anything. It could be a difficult time at work, a personal struggle, a health issue, or just a moment when you feel lost and need support. In those moments, you find out who your real friends are. Are they the ones who, like Alex, climb the nearest tree to save themselves without a second thought for you? Or are they the ones who, even if they're scared, stay on the ground with you, ready to face the problem together? The story isn't just about calling out false friends. It's also a mirror for our own behavior. It asks us to consider, what kind of friend are you? Are you an Alex, or are you a Ben? When a friend is in trouble, is your first instinct to run and protect yourself, or is it to stay and help, to offer support, to be the person they can count on? Loyalty, courage, and selflessness are the pillars of any meaningful relationship. A friendship built on convenience will crumble at the first sign of trouble. But a friendship built on genuine care and mutual support can withstand anything. It is about being the person you would want to have by your side when you raise the one lying on the ground. This ancient fable reminds us to choose our friends wisely and, just as importantly, to be a friend worth choosing. True companionship isn't about grand gestures. It's about presence, about reliability, about knowing that someone has your back, no matter what. It's a friend who stays. Thank you so much for joining me for this story today. I hope it gave you something to think about. What did you take away from it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more stories and reflections. It really helps us out. Stay safe, be a good friend, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.